Are two Love Island USA couples already donezo?
Amaya and Bryan!
Season 7 winners Amaya and Bryan and finalists Iris and Pepe have fans thinking as much after both couples seemingly unfollowed each other on Instagram, the 2025 equivalent to being cut off, as cheating allegation speculation about both men pops up all over the internet.
I had a lapse in judgment.
Something absolutely unhinged happened between reunion filming and tonight's airing. And what we're witnessing is basically a relationship graveyard with perfect lighting. Love Island winners Amaya and Bryan unfollowed each other just hours before this reunion aired, while third place couple Iris and Pepe also went full scorched earth on social media. But here's the kicker. This reunion was filmed weeks ago, which means we're watching people discuss their bright futures while their relationships were allegedly already decomposing behind the scenes. The secondhand embarrassment is suffocating. But that's just scratching the surface of tonight's chaos. We're about to dive into cheating allegations, legal gag orders, and the most uncomfortable breakup conversation in reality TV history.
Now, before we dive into this juicy recap, could you do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button for me? I had to stay up all night whipping this together as soon as the reunion aired, so I would greatly appreciate it. Oh, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you thought was the most shocking revelation from this reunion, or whether you still have questions unanswered. Overall, I think the hosts did a good job in addressing most of the questions we had. Okay, now back to the recap. Walking into that reunion set, you could practically smell the tension. These weren't the glowing couples from finale night. These were people in damage control mode. When Andy brought up the cheating allegations, Bryan's response strategy was interesting. He went with the "I was just bartending and pouring shots" defense, which is giving major "I was just holding it for a friend" energy. The man said he had a lapse in judgment involving shot pouring and crowd pleasing. Sir, that's called Tuesday night at any college bar. But here's what's genuinely hilarious. Amaya's response was peak unbothered queen behavior. She basically said, "If I'm still here, it's because he respects me, and I don't do disrespect." That's not the energy of someone who's buying the bartending story completely. That's the energy of someone who's setting very clear boundaries on live television. Chris backing Bryan up with "I ain't see nothing" was giving major "what happens in Vegas" solidarity. But knowing these two have since digitally divorced each other makes this whole segment feel like watching the Titanic's departure speech. And speaking of messy couples that didn't make it, the absolute irony of watching the third place finalists, Iris and Pepe, explain how they're exclusive while she wants the girlfriend label becomes even more twisted, knowing that cheating rumors and mutual unfollowing happened after this filming. Pepe's whole philosophical speech about dating exclusively but not needing labels aged like milk left in the Fiji sun. When Iris explained the TMZ footage of her meeting TJ was just for closure, she sounded genuine. But watching this, knowing what allegedly went down later, this woman deserved better than whatever circus unfolded post-reunion. My take. The invisible string theory between Iris and Pepe that everyone kept talking about apparently was made of dental floss because it snapped real quick. But wait, there's something even messier brewing. We're about to witness the most toxic breakup conversation in Love Island history, and trust me, it makes every other couple look stable by comparison. These two sitting on opposite ends of the stage like divorced parents at their kid's graduation was sending me. The energy was so toxic you could bottle it and use it as relationship repellent. Chris came with receipts and zero chill. His timeline breakdown was surgical. Huda waited until 3 days before the reunion to apologize, which he correctly identified as damage control theater. "I don't allow people that talk about me like that in my life" was delivered with the precision of someone who's been practicing that line in the mirror. But can we talk about how Chris's mom being, quote, "happy with how things played out" is probably the most devastating review a man's mother can give about his ex? That's not just disapproval, that's relief. Then came the most random plot twist since Game of Thrones Season 8. Huda claiming she couldn't discuss her dating life due to Netflix legal restrictions. Andy's visible confusion was all of us. Since when does Netflix control Love Island contestants' romantic disclosures? Are we sure this isn't just an elaborate way to avoid discussing her dating life? My take. Huda claiming legal restrictions while sitting on a reunion show discussing every other aspect of her personal life is giving my homework ate my dog energy. But here's what gets really interesting. While some couples were imploding spectacularly, others were dealing with completely different pressures. The second place couple, Nicolandria and Nick, walked into a completely different kind of interrogation. Instead of defending cheating allegations, they had to defend being normal, the fake relationship allegations. Nicolandria calling her haters her second fan base because they're obsessed with her was the most emotionally intelligent roast I've heard all year. The woman understands parasocial relationships better than most psychology textbooks. The constant pressure for these two to be engaged and pregnant by the reunion is genuinely unhinged. They've been together for, 2 months? In the real world, that's barely enough time to figure out if someone puts the toilet paper on the roll correctly, let alone plan a wedding. Their actual approach, Greece trips, skydiving, getting to know each other without performing for social media, is refreshingly mature. Nick saying, whatever she wants, I want to make sure it happens, while building actual experiences together, shows more relationship intelligence than 90% of this cast. My take, the fact that fans expect Love Island couples to move faster than arranged marriages and historical dramas says more about our collective relationship with reality TV than these actual relationships. And speaking of relationship expectations, wait until you hear about the supporting cast drama that's about to unfold. Now here's where things get really spicy, because the supposedly lesser couples brought some of the most devastating revelations of the night. Taylor finally admitting he wasn't physically attracted to Nicolandria, while pretending to respect her slow burn pace was the apology equivalent of showing up to a dinner party 3 hours late with gas station flowers. Better than nothing, but barely. Nicolandria's response about never being desperate was chef's kiss. This woman has more self-respect in her pinky finger than some people have in their entire body. The idea that she was chasing anyone when she was literally just existing and being gorgeous is laughable. But then Andy went full detective mode on whether Shelley and Ace coordinated their Love Island applications. And honestly, this conspiracy theory deserves its own Netflix documentary. The idea that they managed to perfectly align their answers through 10 interviews while competing against 500,000 applicants is either the most elaborate scheme in reality TV history or complete nonsense. Shelley pointing out that they'd have to be great actors to pull this off was valid, but also have we seen the acting abilities of some reality TV contestants? The bar isn't exactly Shakespearean. My take. If Shelley and Ace did coordinate this whole thing, they deserve the prize money just for the sheer audacity and planning involved. But we're not done with the chaos yet. Casa Amor's aftermath is about to serve up some truly painful secondhand embarrassment. The Casa Amor portion of this reunion proved that some people should probably stick to dating apps where ghosting doesn't require a public explanation. Austin's deer in headlights performance. Austin's response to questions about Jaden was giving major student who didn't read the assignment energy. The man looked like he was trying to solve calculus while someone played loud music in his ears. Jaden's frustration was so valid it hurt to watch. She literally gave him permission to date others as long as he was transparent, and he managed to mess up the one rule she gave him. That's like failing an open book test where the answers are highlighted. Here's where it gets brutal. The detail about multiple girls bombarding Jaden with information about Austin's date when she walked into that party.
Picture this woman walking into what she thinks is a casual gathering, only to be hit with a coordinated information dump about her situationship. The secondhand embarrassment is overwhelming. My take, Austin's dating strategy appears to be wing it and hope nobody notices, which explains why he left the villa single.
But if you think that's messy, wait until we get to the extended footage that had everyone squirming in their seats. The unseen footage of Huda's performance was a choice. Even watching it in the reunion setting, you could feel the collective yikes energy from everyone on that stage.
What the Shelley? Yeah.
Shelley's point about the difference between consent and sisterhood was actually profound. Just because everyone agreed to participate doesn't mean boundaries can't be crossed within established relationships. The challenge wasn't just about what Huda was comfortable doing. It was about what Ace and Shelley were comfortable with as a couple. Huda's everything was consensual defense missed the point entirely. Nobody was questioning consent. They were questioning consideration for existing connections. There's a difference between what you can do and what you should do. Uncomfortable? Wait until we dive into the stand-on business aftermath that had people questioning everything they thought they knew. This challenge apparently exposed more relationship cracks than a California earthquake, and the reunion gave us all the uncomfortable details. Now, this is where things get really uncomfortable for our third place finalist, Pepe. Watching Grayson confront him about leading her on was necessary television. Her point about him prohibiting her from having other experiences while knowing he wasn't feeling it was devastating. That's not just dishonesty, that's relationship sabotage. Pepe's "I didn't want to drag you along" excuse fell flat when Grayson pointed out he did exactly that by waiting until the last possible moment to be honest. The damage was already done. The revelation that Huda wrote the anonymous postcard asking if Pepe was playing it safe with Grayson was messy, but at least she owned it. Sometimes the truth needs to be uncomfortable to be effective. My take, Huda's postcard was messy, but Pepe's response proved it wasn't wrong. Sometimes being problematic and being right aren't mutually exclusive. But the real tea about villa politics is about to spill when we get to the boys' alliance investigation. Here's where the gloves came completely off, and we finally got the truth about who was really pulling the strings in those elimination decisions. The deliberation footage showing Nick actually advocating for keeping Jeremiah over Austin completely rewrote the narrative.
That he's had. I would like to think that he is someone who grows from this and changes things. And right now, Austin doesn't have any sort of relationship here.
Ace, being labeled the ringleader when he was apparently just the most vocal participant in group decisions, is reality TV scapegoating at its finest. Austin calling Ace the little ringleader was giving major mom he's looking at me energy. These are grown men making group decisions, not middle schoolers following a playground bully. Charlie's observation about Ace always asking questions but not giving information in return was actually insightful. That's classic information gathering behavior. Collect intel without revealing your own position. My take, the ringleader accusations are what happens when people need someone to blame for collective decisions they later regret. But wait, there's a plot twist coming that completely vindicates everyone and changes the entire narrative. And then came the moment that shut down months of online harassment. The revelation that America voted the exact same way the Islanders did.
Boys were Austin, Pepe, and Jeremiah, and the bottom boy was Jeremiah.
Damn.
And as we know, the bottom three girls in the vote were Amaya, Iris, and Hannah. And we can see that the bottom girl was Hannah.
With Jeremiah and Hannah in the bottom, completely deflated the unfair dumping narrative. These people got crucified online for doing exactly what viewers wanted. Sometimes the mob mentality creates villains out of people who were just making the same choices everyone else supported. The Islanders got scapegoated for America's decisions. My take, this is why voting reveals should happen immediately after controversies, not weeks later. The damage to reputations was already done. And speaking of reputation damage, the friendship montage that followed hits completely different when you know what happened next. The friendship montage was touching, but knowing what we know now about the fallouts and unfollowing sprees, it hits different. These people genuinely seem to bond over shared trauma, but apparently, villa friendships don't always survive real-world pressures. What makes this reunion particularly brutal to watch is the dramatic irony. We're watching Amaya and Bryan discuss their healthy relationship dynamic while knowing they scrubbed each other from social media within weeks. We're hearing Iris and Pepe plan their exclusive future while cheating rumors and breakup anthems dominate their Instagram stories. The fact that these two went from splitting $100,000 and planning vacations to unfollowing each other in the span of weeks is either the fastest character development in reality TV history or proof that villa connections don't always translate to real-world compatibility. Amaya posting empowerment quotes while Bryan focuses on his fitness brand suggests they're handling this breakup with more maturity than their villa counterparts managed their actual relationships. And then there's Iris, posting Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac, literally the most famous breakup song in history, after alleged cheating rumors. The woman really said, "Let me soundtrack my pain with the greatest heartbreak anthem ever recorded." The reports about Pepe cheating with someone named Melissa at a golf course in Michigan reads like reality TV fanfiction. But the fact that Iris and her entire family unfollowed him suggests there might be truth to the chaos. But here's what we haven't covered yet. And trust me, part 2 is where things get really unhinged. We're talking about Jeremiah and Bella's mysterious living situation, the real reasons behind certain eliminations, and some villa secrets that didn't make it to air. Plus, we're diving deep into the friendship fallouts that happened behind the scenes, the racist harassment that drove people offline, and whether any of these connections have genuine staying power beyond the social media circus. This reunion delivered accountability, drama, and enough uncomfortable truths to power a small therapy practice. But the real tea isn't what happened in that studio. It's what allegedly happened after the cameras stopped rolling. Watching people discuss their bright futures while their relationships were apparently already circling the drain is peak reality TV irony. These conversations feel like archaeological artifacts from a more optimistic time, before real life reminded everyone why Love Island has a notoriously low success rate. The most telling moment wasn't any dramatic confrontation. It was the collective delusion that villa connections could seamlessly transition to real-world relationships without any growing pains. Reality had other plans, and those plans apparently involved a lot of unfollowing and cryptic Instagram stories. Part 1 proved that sometimes the most entertaining drama happens after the reunion wraps.
in the quiet desperation of digital breakups and passive-aggressive social media warfare. Next time, we're diving into the deeper villa dynamics, more explosive confrontations, and the friendships that allegedly couldn't survive contact with the real world.
You're seated apart from each other. How is it seeing each other?
Fine. I mean...
Weird.
I'm fine.
Very weird on my end.
Very weird.
Yeah, just weird.
Chris, I'm so curious, how does your mom feel about Huda now?
I'll just say she's happy with how things played out.
Can't speak about my relationships outside the villa.
Okay. And why is that?
Legal reasons.
Legal
reasons? I'm not allowed to speak. It's Netflix. I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Netflix won't let you
Netflix
say
said-
whether you're
Not
dating
supposed
somebody?
to talk. Not supposed to talk about it, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
You were like on a red carpet, I think, with someone. Was that someone that you're seeing?
I'm not allowed to speak on it. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Tell Netflix this was the #1 streaming show of the
I
summer.
apologize.
Okay.
I really am sorry.
All right.
Austin, you're super close with Jeremiah. What do you make of all this?
I'm so sorry. I was just zoned out for like 5
Welcome
minutes.
back.
Am I missing something?
If you think of something, call on us.
What if I told you that the couples discussing their bright futures on this reunion stage would be digitally divorced within weeks of filming? That two supposed best friends orchestrated one of the most devastating betrayals in reality TV history, and that the cheating scandal everyone's talking about involves hotel lobbies, golf courses, and Snapchat confessions that would make your jaw drop. But here's the real question. How does watching people plan exclusive relationships hit different when you know those relationships allegedly imploded before the reunion even aired? The dramatic irony is suffocating, and what happened after filming wrapped makes the villa drama look like child's play. But before we get started, could you do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button? It helps the channel grow so I can keep bringing you this kind of in-depth reality TV analysis. I'm also very curious what you guys thought of the reunion special. Were there any burning questions they left unanswered? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Because what we're about to uncover will change how you see every single one of these relationships forever. Zach joining this reunion via Zoom was already awkward. But what happened during his appearance exposed something much deeper about accountability in the digital age. You could literally see Zach lying down in bed, completely disconnected from the chaos he'd helped create. When Amaya finally got her chance to address him directly about the Standon business challenge, her approach was surgical. No screaming, no dramatics, just clear, direct communication about how his behavior affected her and why ganging up on her was problematic. But here's what's really interesting. Zach's acknowledgement felt genuine, thanking her for the conversation and admitting he shouldn't have joined the pile-on. The visual of him, horizontal, while others sat up straight, was accidentally perfect symbolism for his entire villa experience. Yet this moment of accountability was nothing compared to the explosive confrontation that was about to unfold between Bryan and Zach. And trust me, what Bryan revealed about Zach's behind-the-scenes strategy sessions will make you question everything you thought you knew about his villa motivation. The tension had been building, but when Bryan finally got his moment to address Zach's accusations, he came with receipts that completely dismantled Zach's credibility. It all started when Zach allegedly accused Bryan of being in the villa for the money, which Zach quickly tried to deny when called out. But Bryan wasn't having any of that revisionist history.
You did it for the money?
Yeah.
Nah, I never said that. Nah. I never said that, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You should probably go check up on that.
Then Bryan revealed the private conversations that completely contradicted Zach's public persona.
He said it wasn't genuine and he feels I did it for the money.
Here's where it gets devastating. Bryan's insider knowledge about Zach's actual villa strategy.
But I think he forgot a certain conversation that me and the Casa boys had. He was the one trying to dissect the game and strategize. And I'm the one who said, just be appreciative, be here and go off your feelings. I remember we were dying for chats. He came out and said, I don't even want no chats, I want to chill with the boys. If he was really genuine with Amaya, he would have been crying for a chat. Instead, he didn't and got dumped for that.
Amaya joined the destruction with surgical precision, pointing out Zach's performative behavior. You only have conversations with people when it was time to have a chat. It could be very performative at times because once you knew the cameras were on, that's when it was time to have this whole Grammy Award-winning actor scene for you.
You will only have conversations with people when it was time to have a chat. It could be very performative at times because once you knew the cameras were on, that's when it was time to have this whole Grammy Award-winning actor scene for you. Like, let's be very for real.
Okay.
Final words on the matter?
I had to pause after that Grammy Award-winning actor line to make sure I heard it right. It was so classically cute, Amaya, I couldn't help myself. Her calling out exactly what everyone was thinking about Zach's convenient timing with emotional moments. Zach's defeated, okay, response said everything. He knew he'd been completely exposed. But the final twist, after getting absolutely demolished, Zach ended with, I hope you know they stay together and nothing more. And thinking about it now, even in defeat, he couldn't resist one last passive-aggressive dig. This confrontation revealed something crucial about villa dynamics that production doesn't want you to see. The strategic players often disguise themselves as the authentic ones while calling genuine connections fake. But if you think that takedown was brutal, wait until you witness the friendship betrayal that makes villa drama look like kindergarten playground disputes. What happened next was the most devastating segment, and it's about to show you exactly how quickly villa friendships crumble when real-world morality gets involved. Nicolandria and Shelley explaining how they begged Huda for support during their racist harassment, only to be met with silence, was watching a friendship die in real time. The betrayal in Nicolandria's voice when she described people putting her face on George Floyd's body, while Huda, who had the largest following, chose to stay quiet, was devastating. But here's the part that made it unforgivable. Huda's excuse about being too hectic and busy to make a single social media post defending her friends.
But Huda, why didn't you do the post that Nicolandria asked you?
I was dealing with so much outside of that. I didn't know what to say in that moment because I was dealing with so much. I wanted to address more than just that.
We're talking about 30 seconds of effort to speak against racist harassment, and she couldn't be bothered. The moment when Nicolandria said, "You seen two different people," comparing Villa Huda, who talked about planning trips together, to post Villa Huda, who abandoned them during their darkest moment, was friendship assassination in HD. What makes this betrayal worse is that Huda's silence wasn't passive. When someone with a large platform chooses not to speak against racism targeting their friends, that silence becomes permission. Her fans continued the harassment while she said nothing. Both women made it crystal clear they can't see having a friendship with her anymore. And honestly, after what we're about to reveal about the post-reunion chaos, their judgment was spot on.
Truly wish you would have just prioritized that moment to just address the racism and the bullying towards me and Shelley.
I was getting hated on as well, racially.
I get that, but your face was not plastered on fucking George Floyd's body.
I didn't
Mine
even see
was.
that.
That shit is hurt. That shit hurt.
And I'm sorry.
That shit hurt, bro.
I'm really sorry.
We was close.
I'm really...
Let me know in the comments, have you ever had a friend completely abandon you when you needed them most? But if you think that's the most shocking betrayal, wait until you hear about the cheating scandals that exploded right after this reunion was filmed. Here's where this reunion becomes a twisted time capsule. Bryan and Amaya's digital divorce hit the internet just hours before this reunion aired. The cheating allegations started with a TikTok video showing Bryan pouring shots into women's mouths at a party. But it escalated when a woman named Morgan claimed she saw him with another woman at an LA club and alleged he brought her back to his Airbnb room. Now, Bryan's lapse in judgment comment during the reunion takes on completely new meaning. His defense of just being a paid bartender who was pouring shots and crowd-pleasing sounds even weaker when you know the relationship couldn't survive the scrutiny. The most heartbreaking part? Amaya's TikTok reposts after they unfollowed each other. How it feels when you know you have to leave him alone. And when I finally pick myself back up and never let my walls down like that again. The woman who defended their relationship integrity on this very stage was dealing with a completely different reality behind the scenes. But that's not even the messiest part. The Pepe and Iris situation involves allegations so specific, they read like reality TV fan fiction, except they're apparently real. The Pepe and Iris situation got nuclear when specific allegations surfaced about his alleged infidelity. A woman named Melissa Pravada allegedly posted Instagram stories of Pepe playing basketball at the Cardinal Golf Course in Plymouth, Michigan, with flirty captions tagging him. But the real bombshell was an alleged Snapchat screenshot claiming, "Had sex with Pepe in the hotel lobby last night and have to work with him all weekend, still gonna be sick." The detail is so specific, it's either completely fabricated or devastatingly real. Watching their reunion segment where they discuss being exclusive and taking things slow, becomes painful, knowing Iris would later post that Fleetwood Mac Silver Springs story, literally the most famous breakup anthem in history. The fact that her entire family unfollowed Pepe, including her sister Ruby, suggests these allegations had serious credibility in their circle. The timeline is particularly brutal. Pepe was telling TMZ, we're great on August 8th, posted a cute video with Iris on August 15th, and then everything allegedly imploded right before the reunion aired. This means we're watching people plan exclusive relationships while cheating scandals were already brewing. But there's more drama coming that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about these Villa connections. Nick's decision not to reach out to Sierra based on her post-Villa social media activity reveals how Villa connections die when people's true personalities emerge online. Whatever she was posting apparently showed Nick a side that made him uncomfortable maintaining even basic friendship. This exposes a reality TV truth nobody discusses. Sometimes the person you bonded with in the Villa becomes someone completely different once they have followers and opinions to share. Social media reveals character in ways the Villa never could. But speaking of character revelations, Belle-A's appearance proved that not everyone gets corrupted by fame. Bella's brief reunion moment was refreshingly honest about Love Island's duality, experiencing both love and backlash simultaneously. Her continued support for Huda, despite everything, showed genuine loyalty, even when it wasn't the popular position. The fact that she and Huda hadn't actually seen each other since leaving, despite claiming to be close, was telling. Sometimes forever love ends at the airport, when maintaining connections requires actual effort. Her wisdom about choosing herself over romantic entanglements proved prophetic, given what happened to everyone else's relationships. Comment below. Do you think Belle made the right choice, prioritizing herself over Villa romances? But not everyone handled post-Villa life with such grace, as we're about to see. Hannah's emotional response to finally seeing the girls' deliberation footage was gut-wrenching because she'd spent months creating narratives about what she'd done wrong, carrying guilt that wasn't entirely hers. Her gracious response, understanding that someone had to go home and it wasn't personal, demonstrated emotional maturity that put most of the cast to shame.
I want to end up disappointed or feeling hurt or upset. Iris is the best woman ever. And that's my girl. And she had my back and I want to have her back through everything.
More importantly, her explicit defense of her Villa friendships against people trying to poison those relationships showed genuine character. The girls' immediate regret while rewatching their own decision-making process proved this wasn't calculated game playing. These were genuine friendships, making impossible choices under artificial pressure. Hannah's refusal to let public opinion destroy her relationships was the opposite of how other contestants handled post-Villa dynamics. She chose grace over grievance, which probably explains why she maintained positive relationships while others burned bridges. This kind of emotional intelligence becomes even more impressive when you see what happened to everyone else. But there's one more accountability moment coming that'll surprise you. Jeremiah's reunion segment became a masterclass in defending yourself without losing your dignity, especially when Ace and others accused him of love bombing. The confrontation revealed layers of Villa dynamics that never made it to air. The love bombing allegations centered around Jeremiah telling Huda he loved her multiple times within days, but his defense was surprisingly sophisticated.
The definition of love bombing has to involve intent and manipulation. If you saying I love you twice in 3 days, and then me saying, yo, sometimes I do too much, I'm gonna be overbearing, let me know if I'm tripping, and you say, no, you're doing fine. How am I love bombing you if I'm coming to you and asking you, yo, I think I'm doing too much, am I? And you say no. And then also at the same time, I'm not doing enough. So with those 3 facts alone, in my eyes, I can't be love bombing you, because those all contradict what love bombing is.
This was actually a compelling point. Traditional love bombing involves deliberate manipulation without self-awareness or checking in with the other person. Jeremiah's argument that he was actively seeking feedback complicates the narrative. But Ace wasn't backing down, confronting Jeremiah about his overall Villa behavior. When I hear comments about getting the money, when I hear comments about followers outside the Villa, I don't feel this is a genuine connection.
When I hear comments about getting the money, when I hear comments about followers outside the Villa, I don't feel this is a genuine connection.
Jeremiah's response was immediate and direct.
I'll clear that up real quick. One, I never mentioned the money. I remember I made a joke where like, oh, when we get out of here or when we win, I didn't go in there, let me go get 50, let me go stress for 6 weeks to get 50 racks. That's not, respectfully, I'm not going through that 50 racks, you feel me? It was never about the money. It was never about, oh, I can't wait to get out in here and see what I got. So I'm not gonna go in here rolling the dice, try to get followers, that's dumb.
The financial argument made sense. Why would someone put themselves through Villa stress for money they could make elsewhere? But Ace pressed harder about the social media obsession.
Conversations of, when the guys are sitting around talking about, what was our following before this and what was your following and what do you think it's gonna be?
Then came the most devastating exchange.
And Jeremiah said, I'm gonna talk to Andrina all day so nobody else gets to talk to her. That's what I said on the podcast.
But Jeremiah's response exposed how context gets twisted.
Yeah, but like y'all can pull her whenever for a chat.
It was a joke.
You know me that's like week 3, bro. I'm gonna talk to her all night so y'all can't. Come on, bro. Like don't try to villainize that. That's strange.
The "don't try to villainize that" moment was perfect, calling out how normal joking behavior gets reframed as manipulation when people want to create villains. Honestly, I don't see why Ace is so out to get Jeremiah, even out of the villa. Even after watching himself and how he treated Jeremiah in there, the reunion showed that he has no acknowledgement of any sort of wrongdoing against him. It is mighty suspicious, I must say. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Is it just me? But the real revelation came when Jeremiah accepted that he should have gone home over Austin. That level of accountability, while still defending his character, showed genuine growth rather than pure defensiveness. This confrontation revealed something crucial about reality TV. Sometimes the loudest accusations come from people trying to deflect attention from their own questionable behavior. Speaking of questionable behavior, it was Ace's turn in the hot seat when multiple Islanders called out his role as the alleged quote-unquote ringleader in villa politics. The confrontation exposed how influence actually works in reality TV environments. Austin's accusation was specific and damning.
You said the little ringleader, I remember.
Okay.
It's on the clips.
I don't think I said little ringleader.
You did. You did.
I think that's an adjective you added. Okay, then I did say, yeah, group ringleader.
But Ace's defense revealed the complexity of group dynamics.
You're a grown-ass man. How could I ringlead a bunch of other grown men? Seeing that I'm the ringleader, I'm the only person responsible for sending a person home on Love Island.
The grown men argument was actually valid. These weren't children following a playground bully. These were adults making their own decisions in group settings. But Charlie's observation cut deeper.
Definitely trying to figure out where everyone's heads are at. Definitely always asking, yo, who you want to talk to today, but not giving out as much information in return. And when I started noticing that, I was like, okay, maybe I've got to start keeping my cards close to my chest.
The distinction between being vocal and being manipulative matters. Being the most talkative person in group discussions doesn't automatically make you the puppet master. This whole confrontation revealed how reality TV creates scapegoats for group decisions. When collective choices lead to backlash, it's easier to blame one ringleader than accept that multiple people made the same decision. The deliberation footage showing Nick actually advocating for Jeremiah proved that Ace wasn't orchestrating these eliminations. He was just the most vocal participant in group conversations. But here's what's really interesting. While everyone was focused on blaming Ace for villa politics, they were missing the real manipulation happening behind the scenes with production decisions. This reunion exposed how production choices create lasting consequences for contestants' mental health and public perception. Certain people became villains not because of actual behavior, but because of how their stories were edited and presented. The timing of revealing context months after damage was done allowed false narratives to fester, causing lasting harm to reputations and relationships. Despite the relationship carnage, several contestants emerged stronger individually than they ever were as couples. Bella's self-prioritization, Hannah's boundary setting, Nicolandria and Shelley's refusal to accept betrayal. These were the actual victories. The contestants who maintained integrity while navigating public scrutiny proved more resilient than those who compromised values for popularity or convenience. This reveals something crucial about reality TV success that nobody talks about, and it's about to change how you view every future Love Island season. This reunion proved that reality TV success isn't measured in followers or relationship longevity. It's measured in how you treat people when cameras stop rolling and nobody's forcing niceness anymore. The friendship breakdowns weren't about villa drama. They were about choices when faced with opportunities to support friends facing racism, maintain loyalty under pressure, or prioritize growth over self-preservation. This season will be remembered not for love stories, but for exposing how quickly artificial bonds crumble when tested by real-world moral complexity. The hidden costs of reality TV fame, racist harassment, relationship pressure, public scrutiny, rarely get addressed while production focuses on entertainment value over contestant welfare. The most successful contestants weren't those who maintained the most relationships, but those who learned to prioritize values and well-being over public expectations. The reunion proved the real Love Island story was never about finding love. It was about revealing character.
When faced with opportunities to support friends facing harassment, maintain integrity under pressure, or choose loyalty over self-interest, people's true personalities emerged. The winners weren't couples who stayed together longest, but individuals who used their platform to become better people, rather than just more famous ones. This reunion demonstrated that villa connections are just beginnings. Real relationships require effort, moral courage, and personal sacrifice when maintaining them gets difficult. The most valuable lesson from this season? Sometimes prioritizing your relationship with yourself means refusing to compromise values for people who were never really friends to begin with. The villa creates connections, but real life reveals which people are worth staying connected to. Based on this aftermath, that list got much shorter for everyone involved.